Welcome back, Poke fans. Griefus here with Pokemon Emerald. It's our second playthrough on the channel and I'm super pumped for you guys to see it. And while this isn't a hardcore Nuzlocke, regular playthroughs aren't really that challenging anymore, and as I continue growing and creating Pokemon content on the channel, the risks will increase. This being our second playthrough, here are the rules. Matches are set. I got a lot of comments on Fire Red suggesting I use set, and I'll always listen to the fans, so that's what I'm doing. I have to battle every trainer. That means gyms, hideouts, and routes. There's a 5-level cap for the ace of the next gym. I'm gonna try to avoid exploiting that unless I absolutely have to, but I don't think I'll ever have to go more than a few levels over before I reach the Elite Four. If I white out, that equals a reset. Like I said, this isn't hardcore, but if I ever white out, I have to restart at the last new Pokemon Center I healed at. The first heal at a Pokemon Center sets the checkpoint. No legends on the team. I can catch them and put them in the box, but that's where they'll stay. And lastly, but most importantly, win or else. If I white out to the Elite Four or the Champion, that's the end of the run. Do you think I have what it takes to beat the Elite Four and the Champion? Welcome to the Grief Lock. Welcome to the world of Pokemon. Our adventure begins waiting in a room for Professor Birch. He's the foremost Pokemon expert in Hoenn. He shows off his derpy Lotad and excites me with all the new and wonderful Pokemon this region has to offer. We introduce ourselves as moving to a new region and applying for a visa requires a lot of documentation. After fully doxing ourselves to Birch, the information is cleared and we're free to move into our new home in Little Root. A few weeks later, and it's moving day. We hired a Pokemon moving company, so I've been locked inside the back of this truck for hours until we finally stopped. I get out and Mom is gushing over this little town and our new cottage. I know this is Mom's dream town, but I can't help to think of our next move. That's what happens when your dad is a gym leader, and my dad is one of the best. But enough about him for now. I head upstairs and set my clock to the very real-world time of 4:20, as Mom comes to check on me and tells me to check my desk before coming downstairs. I logged onto the PC and received a potion before changing my settings. Fast text, set mode, and messed around and found a new banner I liked. Making my way downstairs, Mom shrieks and calls me over to see Dad on TV. Mom says Dad's really strong and he could even be in the Elite Four if his Pokemon would listen to him more than half the time. They say Pokemon are a reflection of their trainers and they act just like my dad. I head next door and meet the neighbors. They have a daughter my age and rush me upstairs to meet her unsupervised. She's not in her room, but her Pokeball is. I step to take a closer look and she enters the room behind me. Confused, she realizes I'm the new neighbor and introduces herself as May. She appears to be a bit flustered and asks if we can be friends. Sure, it's hard being the new kid. She has to get to work doing something for her dad, and I take that as my cue to leave and decide to head to Birch's lab. He and Dad are old friends, but it's been a while since I've seen him. When I get there, he's nowhere to be seen, and his assistant says that he's out in the field and to go check there. I head for the field, and a little girl stops me, saying there's a bunch of scary noises coming from there. So I sprint off to see Birch getting cornered by a Zigzagoon. He yells out to grab a ball from his bag and to help him. I choose Torchic because Blaziken is cool and I like the fire fighting typing. However, I will say that if Game Freak showed just a little bit more love to fire types, I'd choose Mudkip every time. I send out Torchic and am able to scratch Zigzagoon away in 2 turns, saving Birch. He thanks me and we go back to his lab to talk in a less risky environment. He says Dad's told him a lot about me and saw from my battle with Zigzagoon that he sees my dad in me. As a thanks to start my very own Pokemon journey, he gives me the Torchic we picked earlier and I named Little Nugget Tyson. He then tells me May is his daughter and I should go see her again for training. I go over to her house and she's not there. Talking with her mom, I find out she's headed off to Route 103 and I should go meet her there. Heading north, we knock out a few poochies before making it to Old Dale Town. We heal at the Pokemon Center, unlocking our first checkpoint of this journey. I meet a man in town that shows me where the Pokemon Center is and gives me a potion. I buy a couple antidotes and such before accidentally stepping on some Pokemon tracks some guy is trying to sketch. After enough fooling around, I headed up to Route 103 where I find May. She's a bit intimidating, but if we white out now, we're not losing much progress. I walk up to her and seeing my newly acquired Pokeball challenges me to a battle. Naturally, she has a Mudkip, but I'm a level higher. It's a back and forth of scratch and tackle until Mudkip finally goes down in 4 and Tyson levels up. We beat May and she gives us $300. She compliments me and tells me I have potential and says to follow her back to the lab. You know, I like this May girl. She's a lot nicer than Algo was and a whole lot less whiny. I follow after her back to Little Root and she's waiting for me to make sure I don't get lost in Oldale. She's super fast and I wonder if I'll ever be able to be as fast as her. Not wasting any time, I head back to Little Root and enter Birch's lab. Of course, May's already standing by her dad's side by the time I get there and already told him all about our battle. Impressed by my mad skills, Birch hands me a Pokédex. It's a high-tech tool that automatically makes a record of any Pokemon we encounter. With this, building a team for Hoenn will be easy. May, being the good friend that she is, gives us a handful of Pokeballs. With the Pokédex and Pokeballs now in our possession, we head out and stop by to see Mom one last time before starting our journey. We show her Tyson and she calls him cute and tells me we look just as good as Dad with his Pokemon. She gives me a new pair of running shoes and we embrace one last time before setting out. I'm not sure what's out there or where this journey will lead us, but I do know I won't let anything stop me from becoming champion.